That evening, Jessica sat in her small apartment, replaying the events in her mind. Her savings were limited, and she had rent due in 2 weeks. The thought of job hunting again felt overwhelming. As she scrolled through her phone, a notification popped up. Elon Musk mentioned you in a tweet. Her heart skipped a beat as she clicked on the notification. The tweet read, "Last night, I met an extraordinary waitress named Jessica at Maison Elegance. Her professionalism and kindness stood out. It's a shame businesses don't always value Jessica." Harper had been working at the upscale bistro in downtown Los Angeles for the past 3 years. Known for her radiant smile and an uncanny ability to make customers feel at home, she was a favorite among regulars. But working there wasn't always easy. Jessica often felt the weight of being the only Black waitress in a restaurant where both the clientele and her colleagues were predominantly wealthy and white. She had grown used to the subtle snubs, the dismissive tones, and the occasional outright rudeness. Still, she pressed on, driven by her dreams of saving enough money to finish her degree in hospitality management. On a chilly Tuesday evening, the restaurant buzzed with its usual crowd of elite patrons. Jessica was in her element, balancing plates with precision and greeting every table with a warm "good evening." As she approached table 7, she froze. Sitting there, casually dressed in a black turtleneck and jeans, was none other than Elon Musk. Jessica's heart raced. She wasn't starstruck often, but seeing someone as globally influential as Elon Musk in her restaurant was surreal. Determined to remain professional, she approached the table with a composed demeanor. "Good evening, Mr. Musk. Welcome to Maison Elegance. My name is Jessica, and I'll be taking care of you tonight." Elon looked up, gave her a quick smile, and nodded. "Thank you, Jessica. Just water to start, please." Throughout the evening, Elon kept a low profile. He seemed engrossed in his phone, occasionally glancing up to make polite conversation. Jessica couldn't help but notice how unpretentious he was compared to the usual wealthy clientele. When it was time for dessert, Elon waved her over and asked for her recommendation. "The dark chocolate soufflé is a customer favorite," Jessica suggested. "But if you're feeling adventurous, the chef's special raspberry tart is extraordinary." "I'll go with the tart," Elon decided with a smile. Jessica brought it out promptly and couldn't help but notice the way his face lit up after the first bite. "This is incredible," he said. "Please tell the chef he's outdone himself." As the night wound down, Jessica noticed a commotion at the next table. A middle-aged man in a tailored suit was raising his voice at one of the busboys. "This is unacceptable. Do you know who I am?" he barked. Jessica immediately stepped in, her instincts kicking in to defuse the situation. "I'm so sorry for the inconvenience, sir," she said with a calm yet firm tone. "Please allow me to assist you." The man, visibly agitated, scoffed. "Just get me someone competent." Jessica's face flushed, but she maintained her composure. She glanced over at Elon, who had been watching the interaction. Without a word, he signaled her to come over. When she approached, he quietly said, "You handled that with grace." Most people would have lost their cool. The rest of the evening passed without incident, and when Elon finished his meal, he left Jessica a generous tip and a handwritten note on the receipt. "Thank you for your exceptional service. You're a class act. Keep shining, Elon." Jessica was beaming as she cleared the table. Little did she know, her night was far from over. The next morning, Jessica was called into the manager's office. Her boss, Rachel, sat behind her desk with a stern expression. "Jessica, we need to talk about last night," she began. Jessica's stomach sank. "Is something wrong?" she asked cautiously. Rachel leaned forward, her fingers steepled. "We've received complaints about your conduct. One of our regulars felt you were prioritizing another customer over them." Jessica's mind raced. "Are you referring to the situation with the gentleman at table 6? I was trying to resolve the conflict." Rachel's lips tightened. "That's not how it was perceived. Effective immediately. We're letting you go." Jessica was stunned. "Letting me go?" "Rachel, I've worked here for 3 years. My record is spotless." "I'm sorry, Jessica," Rachel said coldly. "This decision is final. Tears stung Jessica's eyes as she packed her belongings and left the restaurant. She couldn't believe it. Fired for doing her job? And all because a privileged customer didn't like being told no? They're best employees. Let's change that. Jessica, if you see this, reach out to me. Jessica's jaw dropped. She read the tweet over and over, disbelief washing over her. Within minutes, her phone was flooded with messages from friends, family, and even strangers who had seen the tweet. The following day, Jessica mustered the courage to send Elon a direct message. She thanked him for his kind words and explained what had happened after he left the restaurant. To her astonishment, Elon replied almost immediately, "Jessica, I'm sorry to hear that. No one should be treated that way. If you're open to it, I'd like to discuss an opportunity with you." They arranged a meeting at a nearby café. When Jessica arrived, Elon greeted her warmly and got straight to the point. "I'm launching a new hospitality initiative as part of Tesla's community engagement program," he explained. "It's focused on creating equitable opportunities for individuals who've been overlooked or undervalued. Your story embodies exactly what we're trying to change." Jessica listened in awe as Elon outlined his vision. By the end of the conversation, he offered her a managerial position in the initiative, complete with a generous salary and benefits. "Why me?" Jessica asked, still in disbelief. Elon smiled. "Because you have the qualities that can't be taught: integrity, resilience, and empathy." In the weeks that followed, Jessica's life transformed. She moved into a better apartment, began leading a team of like-minded individuals, and even went back to school to finish her degree with Elon's support. Her story gained media attention, inspiring countless others to stand up for themselves and recognize their worth. As for Maison Elegance, the restaurant's reputation took a nosedive after news of Jessica's firing went viral. Customers boycotted, and Rachel eventually stepped down as manager. Meanwhile, Jessica flourished, proving that sometimes the worst moments in life pave the way for the most extraordinary opportunities. Months later, Jessica found herself standing in front of a crowd at a Tesla-sponsored community event. She was the keynote speaker, sharing her journey from being fired to finding her purpose. "I've learned that every setback is an opportunity in disguise," she said, her voice steady and confident. "When one door closes, it's up to us to find the courage to knock on another. Sometimes, we just need someone to believe in us." The audience erupted in applause, and as Jessica stepped off the stage, she spotted Elon in the crowd, giving her a thumbs up. It was a moment she would never forget, a testament to how far she had come and how much further she could go. After the event, Jessica received an influx of requests for interviews and collaborations. Major networks wanted to feature her story, and philanthropists reached out to support her work. Jessica saw this as an opportunity to expand the initiative, creating scholarship programs for hospitality students and launching workshops on professional resilience. One day, while reviewing applications for the scholarships, Jessica stumbled upon a familiar name: Marco Sanders, the busboy who had been berated by the customer at Maison Elegance. He wrote about how Jessica had inspired him to pursue a career in hospitality, despite the toxic environment he'd endured. Touched by his words, Jessica reached out to offer mentorship. Marco couldn't believe it when Jessica called. "You believed in me when no one else did," he said, his voice trembling. "I want to make you proud." "You already have," Jessica replied warmly. "Now, let's get you where you want to be." Years later, Jessica's name became synonymous with empowerment in the hospitality industry. She authored a best-selling memoir, From Fired to Fulfilled, which chronicled her journey and the lessons she'd learned. The book became a source of inspiration for countless individuals facing adversity. Elon Musk remained a close mentor and friend, often inviting Jessica to speak at Tesla events and collaborate on new initiatives. One evening, as they reflected on her incredible journey, Elon remarked, "You've turned a moment of injustice into a movement." "That's rare, Jessica." She smiled, her eyes shining with gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without that tweet. But more than that, I couldn't have done it without believing that I deserved better." Jessica's story became a beacon of hope for anyone who had ever been underestimated or undervalued. It proved that resilience and integrity could turn even the darkest moments into opportunities for greatness. And as Jessica continued to build her legacy, she never forgot the night it all began, with a simple act of kindness that changed her life forever. Jessica's impact wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal. Her mother and Nathan moved to Los Angeles to be closer to her, and she was finally able to provide the stability her family had always dreamed of. Nathan, inspired by Jessica's resilience, decided to pursue a career in engineering. Jessica's heart swelled with pride when he earned a scholarship to a top university, a feat she celebrated more than her own achievements. Meanwhile, Jessica's story continued to captivate the public. She was invited to appear on talk shows, where she spoke candidly about the struggles of being overlooked and the importance of self-worth. Her authenticity resonated with audiences, and soon, she was mentoring young professionals from marginalized backgrounds, encouraging them to embrace their potential. One of the most pivotal moments came when Jessica returned to her hometown in Georgia for the first time since her rise to prominence. The local community had followed her journey through news outlets and social media, and she was greeted as a hero. Standing in her old high school gymnasium, she addressed a crowd of students and parents. "I'm living proof that no matter where you come from, your dreams are valid," she said, her voice steady with conviction. "The road won't always be easy, but every challenge is a stepping stone to something greater." Jessica's words ignited a spark in the audience, and she stayed for hours afterward, answering questions and offering advice. Despite her success, Jessica remained grounded. She often revisited the café where she first met Elon, using it as a quiet space to reflect and plan. On one such visit, a young waitress nervously approached her table. "Excuse me," the girl said, clutching a notebook. "I've been following your story, and I was wondering if you could sign this. You're such an inspiration." Jessica smiled warmly, taking the notebook. "What's your name?" she asked. "Chloe," the girl replied shyly. Jessica wrote a heartfelt message. "Chloe, never forget that your kindness and hard work can change the world. Keep shining and never let anyone dim your light. Jessica." Years later, Jessica's influence had expanded far beyond hospitality. She founded a nonprofit organization, Empower Forward, which provided scholarships, mentorship, and career development programs for underserved communities. The organization became a global movement, transforming lives and reshaping industries. At an awards ceremony honoring her contributions, Jessica stood on stage, holding a glass award inscribed with the words, "Trailblazer of the Year." As the audience gave her a standing ovation, Jessica's mind drifted back to that fateful night at Maison Elegance. What had started as a moment of injustice had become a catalyst for change, not just for her, but for countless others. In her acceptance speech, Jessica said, "We all have moments that define us. Mine was being told I wasn't good enough. But I learned that our worth isn't determined by others. It's determined by how we rise, how we fight, and how we believe in ourselves. Thank you for believing in me." As the applause thundered through the room, Jessica felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She had come full circle, proving that even the darkest moments can lead to the brightest futures.